from this course, why is Databricks important today, why you should learn Databricks, right? Let me just give a short introduction about myself. So, hello, my name is Shreyas, and I am a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm an MCT. I am 9 times Azure certified, and I hold Databricks certifications as well. I have 10 plus years of teaching experience, right? Mostly teaching the corporate world. I've been teaching Azure, I've been teaching Databricks, I've been teaching DevOps, right? And over these 10 years, I've taught more than 50,000 associates, right? On various courses, whether it's a cloud engineer role, whether it's a cloud security engineer role, whether it's a solution architect, whether it's a data engineer, database administrators, Databricks, right? So multiple roles I have taught, and I worked as a senior data engineer as well. Now, more on that, right? Uh, but before, let me just 1 second. Yeah, I got a pop-up on my screen. Fine. Windows needs to update, but all right, done. So that is a short introduction about myself. I have, had a good experience on data engineering tools, teaching them, working with them, right? And if you look at the course structure, we'll have weekday classes, which will be Monday to Friday. The timing for the classes will be, 9:15 p.m. to 10:15 p.m. IST, right? So it is kept for those people who are currently working, right, and may find time later in the night to upskill themselves. Now, as Nitya mentioned, once you enroll in the course, you will have access to the LMS portal, the portal that she showed you, where you will find all the day-wise recordings, the day-wise notes, and the hands-on labs as well, right? So we'll be giving you guided lab documents that you can perform, within your own Azure environment. We'll tell you how to create the free Azure account. I'll tell you how to create the Databricks Community Edition account as well, where you can practice Databricks free of cost, right? These recordings will be with you for your lifetime. The PDF notes, as I mentioned, topic wise will be given. Hands-on labs topic wise will be given, right? So if you are doing Spark SQL, we'll give you hands-on on that. When we are doing data frames, we'll give you on that, different transformations on that as well, right? Once that is done, we'll have 2 hands-on projects. Now, sometimes what happens with people is that they're looking for projects on a specific domain. So if that is your requirement, right? For some of you, you may be from a banking, a BFSI, or somebody could be in some other stream, right? Automotive. So you may have some experience of a certain industry at this given point, correct? Now, if you want to bring in that experience, I'll provide you with the hands-on project on that particular topic as well. All right. So if you the dedicated one that we'll share will be there. But if somebody has a requirement that I want, something related to insurance, because I've worked with insurance on an insurance project before, and I have the idea, I'll be able to answer more questions on that in the interview. Then go ahead. I'll share the project on insurance with you. I'll share the project on banking with you, right? Then we'll give you topic-wise interview questions, ones which are asked, and we'll help you with resume building as well. Correct? So this is what is going to be the course structure. And we'll have almost around 35 classes is the least, that we target. Obviously, we'll have more than that. 35 is going to be the minimum, but eventually it goes on beyond. All right. So I will not commit on the number of classes because it totally depends on the students present in the class, right? If you require, a more slow progress on topics, then we'll go slow. If you're okay, if you're all understanding quickly, then we'll go, not going fast, but then again, we can cover up something in 15 minutes that, sometimes may take 40 minutes also. So it totally depends on how you respond in the class, the duration. So we don't have a fixed duration. I'll not say that since I promised you 40 days and today is the 40th day, even we have not covered the end of it, it's not going to end like that. We'll cover every topic that has been given to you in the TOC, right? So what is the syllabus now? So the syllabus before we get into the core of Databricks, the syllabus contains uh, some fundamental understanding of Azure, right? Because my assumption is that most of you who are present in this session today, in this demo session, may not have any idea about Azure. All right. So my assumption will be that you're all new to Azure. You're all absolutely new to cloud computing. You have not worked with any cloud before, right? Whether it is AWS, whether it's GCP, whether it is Azure, you have not heard about the term called cloud. And that is why we will first discuss Azure fundamentals because this is Azure Databricks. All right. Databricks in itself, nothing. All right. Databricks with a cloud, everything. All right. So Databricks is like that, parasite that feeds off the cloud environment. All right. So it gets attached to your cloud, and then every resource, Databricks does not come up with its own storage. Databricks does not have its own compute. It does not come with CPU and RAM. In fact, it creates those resources within your cloud environment, whether it is storage, whether it is CPU, whether it is RAM, or whether it is any other requirement that you may have. All right. So therefore, when you study Databricks, you need to have a decent amount of understanding on Azure, right? When I say decent, the topics that I'm looking at is Azure Storage and Azure Data Lake, right? These two are more or less the same services, but we are going to work heavily with storage and data lake, right? Because sometimes you'll be asked to mount the data lake on top of your Databricks. And the thing is that data lake as a service, it acts like the raw data source, right? This is where you put all of your raw data on the cloud. Whenever you're putting the data, you generally put it within the data lake, right? And that is why data lake or understanding the data lake becomes very important for you because eventually most of the time you will be picking up the data from the data lake to process, right? So if I have to pick up the data from the data lake to process, I should know first of all what is data lake, right? The next thing is we'll understand what is Apache Spark, right? Now my assumption is that most of you will have zero understanding of what Apache Spark is. What is this compute engine? What is this uh, you know compute engine that gives you so much of power today, right? Why are organizations going behind Apache Spark? Because Apache Spark is actually the heart of Databricks. All right. At its core, Databricks has a Apache Spark cluster that processes everything, right? So therefore, studying the heart becomes really important. Now, if the heart is there, how do you talk to this heart? Right? You need to talk to the person also. You need to talk to their heart. You need to tell them, or whatever this compute cluster will be created, you need to be able to explain it to them that this is my data, this is where that data is present. You need to fetch this data, and this is the processing that you have to do on that data, right? These are the columns. I don't want these certain columns, so I apply, let's say a select query. Then I don't want rows where a particular column has a specific value. I apply filter transformation, right? So like that, I will give instructions to this Apache Spark cluster using a language. So this is going to be my language, PySpark. Now my assumption again will be that everybody present here has no idea about PySpark. You've not seen Python before, right? And that is why we'll be covering PySpark right from the beginning. All right. We'll see everything from very basics. We'll start, right? And then we'll obviously data frames, data sets, everything, different transformations using PySpark, all of that we'll do. So whatever you have seen with SQL, which is, a prerequisite for this course, we are not going to learn SQL. All right. SQL is something as a data analyst, as a data engineer, it should be your bread and butter, right? So SQL is a prerequisite. If you do not understand SQL, well, it's not gonna take a lot of time. You can learn SQL within, I think, 3 to 5 days. If you're spending like 1.5 hours a day on SQL, right? You can learn at least from basic to moderate level, you can reach within 5 days. And that is the duration that we are going to spend on these topics, right? So you can take this time to understand SQL, right? If you do not know Python, PySpark, if you do not know, that is absolutely fine because I will be starting it from scratch, right? What is PySpark? How do you read data? How do you write data, right? How do you create a data frame? How do you do the transformation using PySpark? How do I access different data stores? Everything we'll do in the class from scratch, right? And that is where, after we've done Apache Spark and we've understood what PySpark is, we somewhat start with Databricks also, right? So these two topics will be started together within Databricks. We'll see what is, how do I connect to different stores and everything using PySpark. One second, right? Then we'll also do Spark SQL. This is also very important, right? So we'll start with Spark SQL. We'll see how do you read and write data with Spark SQL, what are managed tables, what are views, and SQL obviously. And you're going to have a complete understanding of what all types of data you can store within or store or work with when you're working with Databricks. Whether you want to work with delta tables, right? Whether you want to actually create a database, with in your Databricks environment, right? So all of that we'll see. Now, SQL is a prerequisite. Parquet is also something that you should understand, but I'll explain it to you. Parquet, I will explain it to you. It's a file format, it's a columnar file format, and it is very efficient, in storing the data. It stores data in much lesser space than a CSV, and it can, also querying the data in a Parquet file is also very easy. All right. Why is it easy? Why does it store data? Or why is it a compressed format? That all we'll see when we are studying Parquet, right? But compared to a CSV file, Parquet is a much more efficient way to store your data. Once we are done with Spark SQL, right? So the order might be a little above and below, but we'll go in an actual flow, right? We'll see the lakehouse architecture, the one that most of the organizations today want to move to, right? Every organization today wants to have the lakehouse architecture, right? That we'll see. Then we'll see the different data frame transformations, right? We'll see all the PySpark functions which are there. We'll see how do you combine different data sets together, filtering, sorting, grouping, conditional expressions, everything we'll see within my data frames, right? Then we'll also see medallion architecture, that is the bronze, silver, and the gold layer. Uh, Again, many organizations, most of the organizations today want to store data in that particular layered format where the raw data is present in the bronze layer and the analytics ready data, right? Aggregated data is present in the gold layer. So that is also something that we'll see. Delta Lake, again, very important. Now, Databricks jobs is not there, right? So I'm really sorry. Uh, I forgot to, update the latest name of it. It's now called as a lake flow. All right. So it's a lake flow job now. So my mistake. It's lake flow jobs now, right? Formerly, it was called as a Databricks jobs, right? So that we'll see. Slowly changing dimensions are also there. That we'll see. Uh, Performance considerations. How do I improve the performance of my, uh, you know, one second. Yeah. How Spark is going to optimize your code, what is lazy evaluation, what is the DAG that gets created, right? What is data shuffling and all of that? What is partitioning, data skipping, right? Z ordering, liquid clustering, and different Spark configurations that you can do to optimize your data. Everything will cover. All right. And apart from this, there are certain other topics also which I could not mention here due to, space constraints. One is structured streaming, right? And the other one is CI/CD, right? CI/CD using Databricks. So all of this will cover, all of it, right? So I tried to give you a brief into what the syllabus is going to be, After every section, after every major section, we'll have a challenge section, right? Where I'll give you a certain data set and there will be a certain requirement to be implemented, right? And the tools that you have to use or the resources that will be available to you will be the topics that we have covered previously. Okay. For example, if medallion architecture is the topic that we cover, then you will get a complete data set and instructions on how you're going to, ingest your data into the raw format, into the bronze layer, and then go to the silver layer, then go to the gold layer and create, analytics ready data, right? We'll also see uh, Databricks CLI, that is using your command prompt to interact with the Databricks environment, to start, stop the cluster, to create the cluster, to run a job, right? Everything we can do from Databricks CLI also. All right, source control and CI/CD, again, I'm repeating, we'll be covering that. Now that brings me, once we've discussed the syllabus and the topics that we are going to cover, now it also brings me, let me just check. Yes, we'll cover Unity catalog as well. All right, we'll cover Unity catalog as well. Just a second. Give me a second. I
Sure,
don't know
thank
where I
you.
slide. Yeah. Yeah. Unity catalog, Hive meta store, right? What is Hive meta store? What is a meta store actually? How do you create databases in the Hive meta store? All of that we'll see. And governance through Unity catalog as well, right? Of the Lakehouse platform. Now, as I was saying, that brings me to the reason as to why you guys should go for data engineering and data engineering in Azure and then going with a tool like Databricks, right? So first of all, let's have a broader idea of what the data engineering field is today and how is it expected to grow in the near future, right? Now, obviously, it has uh, outgrown, right? Or not outgrown, but whatever assumptions were made previously, obviously it has performed better than those assumptions, right? But based on the historical data, the global big data and data engineering services market, right? It is currently today present at almost 89, assume it to be $90 billion, right? It is currently today a global $90 billion industry, which is expected to grow at almost a cumulative rate of 18% annually, where this 90 billion will become almost three and a quarter, 325, right? 325 billion in the next 8 years. So that is almost like a 4-time jump, right? Now, this is expected. Obviously, the size will be much more than this. So the industry is growing, right? And the industry is growing at a very fast pace. The reason being that every organization today is nothing without data. Everybody needs data. Everybody is playing with the data. They are making the decisions based on the data. So it is something that everybody wants, right? And if you look at the fastest growing tech occupations as well, right? Data engineering is on the first place. Data engineering is something that is growing at the very fast pace. All right. And so, the industry is growing, the role is growing, but what is this industry looking for? All right. This industry is currently looking for Azure. All right. So this is the percentage of mentions in the total job postings which is available across multiple platforms, right? It is talking about Azure. SQL, as I told you, if you're working with data and you do not know SQL, it's a problem, correct? So SQL will always be first, but the second one is Azure, right? People want you to be familiar with the Azure platform. With at least one cloud platform, you have to pick, right? And I could not fight a better case for Azure, than showing this to you, where you can see yourself what is the demand for Azure currently in terms of data engineering. All right, ETL, again, jobs will mention these keywords, and the interesting one is Apache Spark, right? Apache Spark, all right, and this data I think is from 2024, all right. The particular report that I had was in the beginning of 2024. So therefore, now you know that Apache Spark is a lot in demand, and Databricks is nothing but optimized Apache Spark. All right, it uses optimized Apache Spark, and Databricks is a keyword in almost every job opening nowadays. All right, it is growing very, massively, right? But then, are there really jobs available for Azure data engineer, right? Because if you're wanting to become an Azure data engineer, Databricks is a mandatory skill. PySpark is a mandatory skill. All right. But are there jobs actually? So that is what brings us here to see if you search for Azure data engineer jobs, all right, you'll find such reports 17,000, 8,000 plus, right? So they have a limit of 8,000, but it's even more in top MNCs. You search for a data engineer, and every top company is looking for a data engineer. It's not just one or two, every, all right, whether it is the topmost company or whether it's a service based company, right? Service based, product based, everybody is behind data engineers, all right. And it's not something which has emerged in one day. It's a gradual process which has been happening since a very long time now, right? If I have to talk to you about the phases, right? So phase one was where we had the on-prem era, right? Companies were running databases and warehouses in their own data centers. Every company would create their own data center. That is called as an on-premises data center, right? Now we move to the early cloud migration, where organizations would pick up their load from their on-premises environment and put it into the cloud environment, right? Whatever they already had, they will take it to the cloud. They will create virtual machines, they'll create services like databases, like app services, right? And if they were hosting applications, they will move to app service. If they had a virtual machine in their own environment, and they'll create a virtual machine in the cloud, right? Then came the phase three, the modern cloud data platform, right? Now the expectations are different. Now we are growing data lakes, warehouses, and I will tell you that lakehouse architecture that Databricks introduced is something that everybody wants. Now nobody wants a separate warehouse and a separate data lake. They want a combination of two. So data lake plus data warehouse, lake plus warehouse is lakehouse, or the lakehouse architecture today. So why you should enroll in this course? So there's actually quite a lot that we can talk about here, right? One second, just give me a second. Yeah. So to truly appreciate why Databricks is such a monumental force today, right? You first need to look back at the problems that Databricks was, created to solve for decades, right? For a very long time now, uh, you know, everybody was either a data warehouse or a data lake, right? So there were two splits, right? And the world was divided into the two distinct and often conflicting as well, right? The warehouse camp. What is happening? One second. Yes. And the data lake camp. Coming to the warehouse, you already know it's a highly organized library. It's built for the structure and the speed, right? It's data warehouses, they're excellent for business intelligence and analytics, right? Your BI tools, they integrate really well with warehouses, and then they help you create reports and everything, right? And they store structured data. My warehouse will always have structured data like tables with predefined columns and predefined data types, right? And the warehouse is also optimized for SQL queries. And that is one of the reason why you could not do data transformation or data analysis on your transactional databases, right? Your SQL databases are called as transactional databases. So you would never perform transformation or analysis on your transactional databases. What you would do? You would need a warehouse to do the analysis, right? So it's a high performance, place for queries, running the queries. There's strong data governance present. It is reliable as well, and it gives you ACID uh, transactions as well. Atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Right. But the problem with the warehouse was that it was very expensive. All right. It's expensive. It is, uh, let me write it down. It is very rigid as well, right? Rigid schema. If I have created a table, then my data should fit that table, right? And also sometimes it's not very well suited for advanced machine learning or data science workloads, right? Then you have the second camp, which is the data lake. And this is something which came into the picture when the big data era exploded, right? Companies were flooded with massive volumes of diverse data sets, not just tables. There were text files also, there were social media feeds also, there was sensor data also, there was videos as well, there was images as well. And the data warehouses couldn't handle this variety and the volume. And that is called as the 3V problem of the big data, correct? The 3V problem is velocity, volume, and variety. Data exploding at a very fast pace, getting generated at a very fast pace, in very high volume, and in different formats. It's not just a simple table format now, it's in many formats. So the data lake, you know, it would not be able to handle the variety and the volume. All right, sometimes. So therefore, so what you have to think is, uh, you know, sorry, not the data lake, the warehouse, right? The warehouse was not able to maintain the volume and the variety of this data, and that is where the data lake has to be created. All right, and data lake was your vast natural. You can think of it as like a natural lake only. You can pour any kind of data into it, in its raw format, in its native format, and it's incredibly cheap and flexible. So that made it the preferred playground for data scientists, for machine learning engineers, for data engineers who needed to access raw data to either clean it, to either train their models on it, right? So it's data lake is very cheap, very low cost storage. All right, and it can store any kind of data. It can store structured data also, semi-structured also, unstructured also, and it is very highly scalable as well, right? But there are certain weaknesses present in the data lake as well. It often became a data swarm, which is a messy, unreliable mess where there is no governance of data. It lacked the performance and the reliability features of a data warehouse, right? So that made it very difficult for business analysts to use a data lake directly. They could not, right? So then this split, it created a massive problem. Companies, they were forced into, complex and inefficient two copy architecture. Data would first land into the data lake, and that is, something which has been followed in almost every organization. Your raw data would always land into the data lake, right? Then we will build some ETL pipelines and put that data into a data warehouse, right? Now you see, raw data and data warehouse will have somewhat common data. There will always be an intersection of data between them, correct? Because my data was present in the raw format. What I've done, I've just cleaned it and put it into the warehouse. So I'm copying the data in two places, right? And that created something called as data silos, right? Or silos. Data scientists and analysts were working on different copies of the data, which would lead to incorrect results sometimes. It had very high cost because you were maintaining two separate systems. Data lake was a completely separate system, and warehouse was a completely separate system. All right, it was very expensive, and it also required different skill set. Somebody who would manage a data warehouse may not be able to manage a data lake. Somebody who's proficient with the data lake would not be able to manage the warehouse, right? And there that led to very slow time to insight. The process of moving data between the different systems, right? So business decisions were also made. Uh, you know, some latency was involved there, and the ETL pipelines are also very complex, right? And difficult to maintain. So the industry needed a better way. All right. It needed a single platform that could offer the scale, the flexibility of a data lake, and the performance and the reliability of a data warehouse. And that is where the Databricks enters with its lakehouse revolution. All right. That is where Databricks enters the story. All right. We had something called as Hadoop, correct? We had Hadoop. From Hadoop, there were obviously limitations with Hadoop system to process your data, correct? Hadoop was very complex to learn. It required a lot of coding in Java, which was very difficult, right? So everybody was not able to use Hadoop, obviously. Then it was processing the data and keeping the intermediate data in disks. So that made the process very slow, right? So these were the certain shortcomings in Hadoop system, which led to the creation of something called as Apache Spark, right? And then Apache Spark was further optimized, and the creators of Apache Spark created the Databricks. So it's not that Databricks is a separate thing created by somebody else. No, people who created Apache Spark, they only created Databricks. All right. And they introduced the new architectural paradigm, the lake house. It's not just a marketing term, it's a revolutionary concept. It aims to create a single unified platform that eliminates the need for separate data lakes and data warehouses. It, you know what it does? It basically builds a layer of a data warehouse like capabilities directly on top of your data lake. All right. So a data lake can act like a data warehouse. And Databricks became the cloud based. That is very important. It is a cloud based. That is why it will always come either Azure Databricks or AWS Databricks or GCP Databricks. It will never be Databricks on its own. All right, because it's based on the cloud platform. It takes the resources from the cloud platform. All right, it's a unified analytics platform that provides the tools to build, deploy, share, maintain enterprise grade data analytics, data engineering, and AI solutions at scale. All right, it provides a single collaborative environment. Even that is the official, you know, what do you call it? Definition of Databricks, right? It's a unified platform. Everybody can come on the same platform, whether it is a data analyst, whether it's a data engineer, or whether it's a data scientist. Everybody has one place to be at, and that is the Databricks platform because it caters to everybody. Data analysts can analyze their data. Data engineers can, build those pipelines, move the data around, transform it, do the ETL, and data scientists can also work with it, right? Why it's so powerful? The dominance of Databricks is not an accident. All right. There are three foundational pillars that make it unique and very powerful. So when you talk about Databricks, right, the three powerful pillars that we are talking about is first of all the open source foundation. One of the most compelling aspect of Databricks is that its core of Databricks is built on a very powerful industry standard open source technology. So that means companies are not logged into a proprietary system. That is your Apache Spark. Databricks is Spark. All right. Databricks is nothing but Spark, but on steroids. All right. That is how you may define it. It's not just simple Spark. It is Spark on steroids. It will give you a fully managed, highly optimized version of Spark that is faster, more reliable, and easier to use than the open source Spark that you have. All right. Users will get all the power of the world, or all the powers of the world's best data processing engine without the immense operational headache and managing and tuning the Spark cluster. The second, data lake, that is again a secret source of my lakehouse platform, right? Uh, Delta Lake is again very important. It implements asset transaction, time travel. You can do schema enforcement. You can do it can be used in batch and streaming, both processing. It can be used in right? So that is their open source tools. The second pillar is what I've already told you, the unified platform. One platform for everybody. Everybody come and use this. For data engineers, for data analysts, for data scientists. Everybody, right? Databricks is the dream environment for building your scalable data pipelines. You can use familiar languages like SQL, like Python and Scala, and you can build your complex ETL and ELT processes, right? You can build the pipelines with Delta Lake table. So now, see, we have some brief idea about Databricks now. Why upskilling in Databricks is essential for you. So, talking about your career, why is learning Databricks one of the single best investment that you can make in your professional development? All right, as a data professional. One, you are learning for the future. All right, you are learning the future today. The industry is rapidly consolidating around the lakehouse architecture. 90% of the industry has not consolidated around the lakehouse architecture, to be very honest. But the growth is immense. Traditional data warehouses are being seen as a legacy information silos. All right. And the pure data lakes that we had are unreliable data swamps. So the lakehouse is the clear winner, and Databricks is the undisputed leader in this space of creating the lakehouse. So by learning Databricks, you're not just learning another tool, you're learning the dominant architectural pattern that will define the next decade of data. All right. And now you're also becoming, a data professional. You're not becoming a data engineer, you're becoming a data professional, because Databricks forces you to become fluent in core languages of the data. You become a data engineer also, you become a data analyst also, you become a data scientist also. All right. So that is there. Third is that there is very second, I told you, right? Data professional. Third is that there is a very high demand. I have already shown you the job market, the industry market size, right? And the kind of a demand which is there for Azure based or Databricks or Lakehouse, right? Or all these different tools that you have. Simply put, the demand for Databricks skill is exploding, right? You just search for a data engineer or you search for a data scientist, it will show that Databricks will be listed as a required or a highly desired skill, or nice to have skill also, but it will be there. All right. Companies across all industries are migrating to the lakehouse, and they're desperately seeking professionals who can help them build and manage this new data stack. All right. So the high demand directly translates to more job opportunities, right? Obviously, higher starting salaries and a great career mobility as well. All right. So there are a lot of benefits of learning, Databricks. Fine. They command a premium. Databricks skills, they command a premium. There is an economic or the economics of the demand as well. You solve high value problems, right? So companies don't adopt Databricks to solve small problems. They are adopting it to tackle the big data challenges, right? So processing petabytes of data, enabling real-time analytics, deploying company-wide initiatives, right? Professionals who can successfully implement these solutions are directly contributing to the company's bottom line. You are going to reduce the complexity and the cost of your uh, organization. If you're fully aware of Databricks, right, or the unified lakehouse platform, you are going to help your company decommission some very expensive legacy data warehouses, and simplify the complex web of the ETL tools that the organizations were using. All right. So that is something that you should invest upon. Learning Databricks is going to be very helpful with actually the kind of growth that we have seen in the data world, right? for Databricks, for the Lakehouse platform, for Apache Spark, it is very important. All right. There will come a time within the next year or the next 2 years, within the next 6 months also, where everybody will be focused upon learning Databricks and mentioning Databricks as the required skill. All right. So with that, we'll end today's demo. Obviously, there is a free class tomorrow. That is 23rd of September, right? The timing will be the same, 9 to 10 p.m. IST, and you are going to use the same link to join the session. All right. So tomorrow we'll have a free demo class where we'll start with the Azure platform, right? So please do attend that free demonstration. Try and see where you stand in your cloud understanding. What is cloud, right? How you going to use it? We'll discover all of that tomorrow. All right. So please feel free to join in. Now, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask your questions, everyone.
Quick one. So let's say once you finish the 1 hour of a session, right? And then after we need to go back and
Hmm.
complete the labs, is it?
Yes. So see,
Okay.
labs are not daily wise, they're topic wise, right?
Yeah.
So there could be a
Yeah.
particular topic that we are covering in 3 days, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the topic will be completed. Now, on that topic, the hands-on will be given to you, which ideally you should be completing, along with the class itself. So if we did it today, before coming to the class tomorrow, you should have at least seen what the hands-on lab demanded, whether you are aware of it or not, right? Because that is very important in building the base. If you are just attending the classes and not practicing, it does not make any sense. So at least
Exactly.
30 minutes,
Yeah.
30 minutes of your time you have to spare for hands-on every day. All right. If for some urgent situation, some emergency, you're not able to do it during the week, then you get Saturdays and Sundays off to complete whatever backlog you have for that entire week, right? So ideally, it should be done within that week itself. But in case of an emergency, utilize the weekend, but don't let it go beyond the weekend.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Others,
Yeah, one doubt here, data fabric, you won't cover a data fabric and
no, no,
data factory.
uh, not really. We are not covering. This is not a fabrics course.
Okay, okay. Even data factory also, because it is also belongs to Azure. No?
See, I think you are
It
looking
belongs
for
to Azure.
data engineering course.
Yeah, we have a Azure data engineering course separately, right? We have a morning batch going on right now, which we recently started. This is dedicated to, Databricks. For example, if we have, let's say, Azure DevOps, right? So I'll be teaching Terraform in it, but for Terraform and Kubernetes, a specialized training. So this is like a specialized training on Databricks, which is a part of Azure data engineering. The tools that you're talking about, they are other parts of that particular training, the Azure data engineering training that we do.
Okay, it is specific to Databricks only. This is one.
Yes, yes, this is end-to-end Databricks. We are covering Azure because assumption is that most of you may not know what Azure is, right? So therefore,
Okay, got
we are covering the Azure platform.
okay. I mean, it will be the same on AWS also, no? Databricks, so just maybe syntax, maybe.
Databricks is the
Uh,
same, not the
okay.
syntax. The syntax will also be the same,
Oh, okay.
right? So 80% of it, 85% of it will be the same on AWS. The only thing that will change is how does it integrate with AWS environment. For example, in Azure, if you want to integrate it to a storage account, there is a specific way of doing it with the configuration that Azure specifies, correct? And we call it as a data lake or a storage account. In AWS, it's called as an S2, right?
Okay,
So,
okay, yeah.
so just the name changes, the services remain the same. For example, in Azure, I create a virtual machine. In AWS, I create an EC2, Elastic Compute 2. Both are essentially the same thing. But the way of configuring it, the way of creating it, and the way of naming it is going to be separate on AWS and separate on Azure.
Okay.
But Databricks, because it's a peripheral system, it is not something which is present within Azure. I'll show you. If you go
Okay.
here, so this is the Azure platform. If I search for Databricks, I have Azure Databricks. Now, when I create a Databricks resource, all right, so I'm sorry if this looks a bit, I know, too much to you because we've not discussed this as of now, right? So I'll show it to you. When you create this resource also, when you launch the Databricks platform, it does not stay within Azure. It takes you to a separate platform altogether. All right. So there,
Okay.
whatever you do with the data is going to be specific to Databricks. That is going to be the same across all clouds. So there, Databricks remains the same. 90% of this, whatever you will learn in this course, right? 90% of it will be applicable to AWS also, GCP also, or any other cloud platform in future if Databricks, combines with
Okay.
others. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
So for practice, we will have to create our own login, like I mean the free tier which
See,
comes
there are two
bundled
things.
for that.
Yeah. So there are two things. One is the Databricks Community Edition. All right. So this Community Edition is free. All right. So you can practice it from here, but sometimes you will need to access more premium resources, right? Because the Community Edition basically gives you some limited resources and some limited services. All right. So with this, you can practice the basics, but then we'll also tell you how to create the free Azure account that you're going to use. All right. And using this free Azure account, you can create a Databricks resource within it and then work there as well. So the free Azure account will give you $200 worth of credit, which will be valid for 1 month, right? So if you have a master or a Visa card, you can create that free Azure account. All right.
So I have uploaded the course content. I think somebody asked me the course content. Please download it from the chat.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So the course content is present in the chat. The contact details are present in the chat. Tomorrow we are having the free class at the same time. Please join that, and we'll connect again tomorrow. So if you have any doubts, remaining doubts also, we'll take it up tomorrow itself. All right. Please do join the free session tomorrow. All right.
So
Yes, sure.
last question
Yeah.
from my side.
Yeah,
Mhm.
please.
So
Go ahead.
so I think our course will go for 1.5 month, right?
More than that, yes.
More than that, is it? So almost around 2 months. So are we going
Yes.
to get this free account for 2 months, or we may have to create it with different email IDs?
That is what you have to do. See, Databricks in itself will be available here free of cost, but then creating it within Azure, you'll have to create it twice. All right.
Okay.
Because to perform the projects also, right, you will need a Databricks account. So you don't need to create it today itself. All right. Because directly we'll not jump into creation of resources. First, we'll try and understand what is Azure. I'll show you what is Azure. And then later on, let's say a week later, if you create it, that would save some time for you also, and that will bring you to a point where you know actually what are resources, how you create them, and then you start working on the platform. All right. So this is what I was trying to show you. So this is the Databricks environment. If I launch the workspace, it takes me to a separate portal altogether. All right. Now from this portal, I'll be linking it to my uh, Azure environment. Yeah.
Sure. So, sorry, one last question. So, I mean, what level of Python or any other like PySpark coding is required? I mean, that we need
See,
to. I mean, you already mentioned that. Okay, we don't need it. You'll be
no,
covering
no,
it, but
you actually need it. You actually need
no, no.
it.
I mean, as
It
in
is
we
very
are going to
important.
cover it, right? But
But we
just
are
for
going to
my
cover it.
understanding
Yes.
sake, so like what is the level of PySpark or Python that will be required? Are you going to cover?
PySpark. See, PySpark. I will tell you how you're going to start it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Python, if you go through a brief, let's say, crash course kind of a thing, 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours
Mm-hmm.
of that, right? Just a brief to understand what is a list, what is a tuple, what are the variables, what is the data type, how do you define it. If just those things you can do the basics part, right? Because eventually you will have to learn Python. For
Are we
any
going
data
to
engineer,
are we going to use
hmm,
Python libraries as well for in our
uh,
session?
no, we are not going to use pandas or that over
Yeah,
here.
any of the
But but
libraries.
the
That's
but the concept of data frame through PySpark will implement it.
through PySpark. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah, through PySpark we'll do everything.
okay, but not with Python, right? So how will actually Python
Not
come into picture? I mean, I'm not aware about PySpark, so that's what.
See, PySpark is a Python-based library, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah,
PySpark is
understood.
Python-based. So having idea about Python is a good thing. But eventually you'll have to learn Python, right? To
Mm.
become from a good data engineer to go to an exceptional data engineer, you'll need to have expertise in Python. All right.
Is
But it will not
Databricks
be like
part of data engineering as well itself, or is it like? I mean, it could be a silly question, but it's still
no, it's fine. What did you ask? Databricks is a part of?
like part of data engineer itself, or it's a different altogether.
It's a unified platform, right? For everybody. For a data engineer, what do you do? ETL? It will help you do ETL.
Right.
All right. For data scientist, you want to do analysis, it will let you do analysis. For a data scientist, you want to train your models, it will help you train your models as well.
But up to that level of expertise, right? Are we going to cover this as a part of
For
the syllabus?
for ETL, for ETL and
Hmm.
data analysis, yes.
Okay. But the last part where this LLM comes into picture, I mean, that
Not really.
directly part
Not
of the
really.
syllabus.
No, no, no.
Got it. Okay.
That's more
Thank
for AI developers.
you. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry, I just joined 5 minutes back.
No issues. No issues,
So,
Arjun.
yeah, I just want to know. I mean, I didn't receive any course content in the chat. So,
Let me share it with you specifically. It's there for everybody. I think you joined later, right? So that is why you don't see
yeah,
it. Uh,
yeah.
Anitya, can you share it again in the chat so that Arjun can download it?
Yeah, Shreyas, one question. So, in Azure Data Factory also we do ETL, right? And here also we are doing ETL.
Yes,
So, what
yes.
is the difference between two?
Data Factory is more like a no-code, low-code solution. This is code in PySpark solution. All right. See, Data Factory is all about building pipelines. All right. Databricks is
Okay.
not everything related to pipelines only. It is more about delta lakes. All right. It is more about creating your, databases. All right. So when we see Databricks, you will see how you create databases also over here, right? Defining the schema and everything. Then it is a complete solution. It's not just a single pipeline solution. You can write scripts, you can create scripts, right? You can create jobs, right? Uh, so most of it could be performed with Data Factory also, but this is a separate tool. Data Factory in general, it gives you certain benefits, it has certain features, but Databricks has its own, benefits and features. So it's more than just building pipelines.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thanks.
Shreyas, I have one doubt actually. Like in case of data engineering, like what are the skill sets required? Because I want to choose either one thing. So I joined late. That is the reason I was checking with you.
See, when you're working as a data engineer, right? First of all,
Yeah.
you should have a strong command on SQL. That is the first skill that anybody would expect you to have. Second is that you need to know the cloud, all right? Because now things are moving away from the on-premises environment and everything is coming to the cloud now. Every organization wants to move towards the cloud. So you need to pick up a cloud platform that you think is the best for you, right? Uh, I would recommend, obviously, being a Microsoft certified trainer, I would recommend you to learn Azure, right? But see what you're comfortable with. I'll tell you, Azure is something which is widely accepted everywhere. All right. So is AWS. AWS is also very widely accepted. Yeah. And let me tell you, AWS has a larger market share than Azure, right? But the difference is that Azure's market share, the kind of increment that is seen, right? The growth rate, AWS has a declining market in that respect. So soon Azure will take over AWS, all right, in the market share there. So that is a good point as to why you should go for Azure, right? And then something offered by Microsoft can never be, out of fashion.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, Arjun, I hope you're able to see it in the chat window now. We just posted it again.
Yes, I have uploaded. If anybody wants, please reach out to that number. I can share it with them.
No, I'm not able to see that in the chat. Let it. I will reach out
Yeah,
individually.
Yeah,
please.
do you see
Please
the
ping
mobile
me.
number?
Yeah.
9492.
No. 7000.
I've pasted it in the chat again. See, you should be able to see now. 70100 80468.
Chat in the sense Zoom chat only, right? I mean, sorry.
Yeah, here
Hello?
only. Zoom chat.
Yeah, Zoom
only.
chat, yes.
But I'm not able to see anything.
All right, can you go to nicitacademy.com?
Yeah, now I got the hi from the chat.
Okay. I will send it to you.
So if you go to nicitacademy.com as well, you will find the
Okay.
mobile number there. Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah.
So if you go to nicitacademy.com, at the bottom, you'll find the WhatsApp number. You can contact here. All right.
Sure.
Yeah. So we'll connect again tomorrow, guys. I'll see
Yeah,
you guys
Shreyas,
again
one last
tomorrow.
question.
Mhm.
I mean, if you don't know Python, so can't we manage this PySpark with your
You
teaching?
can manage. That is what I'm trying to tell you. You can manage it,
Okay.
but
Okay.
management is
deeper
not
level?
what you have to aim for, right? Eventually, you will have to learn it. Python, you will have to learn. All right.
Okay.
See, whatever we are going to cover in the course, everything you will understand. You'll understand Databricks end to end. But then it comes to what advanced level programming you know will define advanced level of, for example, you have SSMS, right? SQL Server Management Studio. You know SQL Server Management Studio, but you know SQL a very little bit, right? Does not make sense. So I'm going to teach you SSMS, correct? The platform itself, everything about it. But then the kind of SQL knowledge that you develop on top of it is going to define you, right? So the same thing applies here also. It's not that you will not understand any part of this particular training due to your lack of understanding of Python. That is not going to happen.
Okay.
And in the class also, in the beginning, right, when we are starting with PySpark, we'll have a 1 or 2 days of Python where we'll discuss the basics of Python. So we're going to cover Python, all right, the basics of it at least.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same link. Please do join for the demo session. It's a free class. right? So please make the most of it, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir.
Thank you, Shreyas.